Hello, this is RICKY, the Android Guy. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Android Weekly, Android Q&A. If you are a first-time viewer, we are going over essentially everything that happened in the mobile world this week, as well as answering any questions you may have. Alright, so let's kick it off and start off with the news. So the big headline news of this week was by far Apple is buying Beats. Now, this happened in a couple of different stages, and I think it was kind of interesting in how it happened. So first we heard it from, I believe, the Financial Times, that, it's buying it. It's buying it for $3.2 billion, reportedly. So we hear that, that's the big news of the week, and let's give you something to see. So, that was the big news first off. Then we got a post from Tyrese essentially saying that, with Dre saying, first billionaire in hip-hop, and they're just super excited. They were celebrating, essentially, this merger. And it's not been made official by either party yet. So Beats or Apple has not said anything about this yet, but it's expected to be announced when it closes, when the deal is official, which is this upcoming week. So we could possibly hear it, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday that this is what's happened. So that's definitely very interesting, and it seems really interesting in how valuable they think Beats is. I do not believe Beats is worth $3.2 billion. Now, Beats are devices that essentially are like Apple products. They're very inexpensive to make, but they make a huge profit margin because of the brand image. So, your Apple computers are almost cost maybe $100 more to make compared to a regular PC computer, but maybe 200, well, depending on which model, of course. But they have such a high profit margin because of their brand name, and it's all in marketing, it's all in advertising, and that's where they get it from. Beats is essentially the same style. But of course, that's what has a lot of people puzzled at the same time, because they're like, well, couldn't Apple just create some high-quality sound earbuds or headphones, and it gets this kind of recognition? Yes, they could. But here's the thing. The reason why I believe Apple's actually doing this is not only for the marketing like everyone believes. Everyone believes Apple's just doing this for the marketing. But I believe they're also doing this because of the manufacturing. See, manufacturing is an area that Apple is little zip to none in. Basically, they don't manufacture anything of themselves. It's all through third party like Foxconn, Samsung, Sony for their camera on their phones. These are the main supply companies for Apple right now, and they don't have it. And this has caused a big problem between the companies, mainly Samsung, and now secondarily LG as well, because these companies make all these products for Apple, and now they're like, well, if we make it, we're going to be doing our own thing. That's where Samsung really took off, because Samsung, screen, battery, processor, RAM, glass with Corning, they own they own or make all of that. So it's really interesting to see how it's coming along, essentially. So I think it's really interesting, and the biggest actually thing that I thought that was interesting about this was this last article about this purchase, and that is that unfortunately, if Apple had bought Beats last year before HTC sold their market share, they would essentially have saved HTC. For those of you who don't know, I've said this a couple times. I truly believe HTC might go out of business within the next 2 years. I just we'll go over their sales in a second, but they have been hurting, and this deal would have essentially net them $1.29 billion, which, as the article said, they desperately need. HTC has been losing money left and right for a while now. And they sold all of their shares of Beats. The first time they sold it, they had almost a $5 million loss, and the second time they sold it, they had an $85 million profit, which nets them about $80 million for the whole Beats venture of investing money into it and getting, Beats a lot of its money. However, I mean, considering that instead of 80 million, they could have got 1.2 billion or 1.3 billion essentially. That's actually fairly sad for HTC. And it's just now for those of you who don't know, the reason why they had to sell it was because of the fact that they were going to be in the red again. So HTC for almost the past, I want to say almost 2 years now, has been in the red, meaning they're getting a net loss instead of a net profit, which is obviously bad for any kind of company. So now they're at the point where they're really getting shaky on that because of the fact that they've had a lot of issues. One with lawsuits. I mean, HTC has had HTC has to pay, by the way, for every phone they sell. They have to pay Microsoft, Apple, and Nokia, which is now Microsoft, but before they merged, they have to pay every single one of them for every phone they sell. So that cuts a lot into their profit margin. So it's not enough just to sell a phone. They have to sell a lot of phones to really make a profit. And so for the past 2 years now, they've been in the red because of all these things. They settled out with Apple after the HTC One S. So 2 years ago, that's got settled, and they had to pay Apple per phone sold starting last year with the HTC One. That's why it was metal. That's why even the new HTC One, the reason why it has the double flash is because it's a patent that they can use freely and not have to worry about Apple. So, yeah, that really sucked because I was like, oh my god, that sucks. So speaking of HTC, there's the new thing that's coming out is that they've only sold 500,000 HTC One M8s, which if this is true, really, really sucks, and that would be very, very terrible. Now, HTC has not announced any official numbers. My guess is that tomorrow we will hear both from Samsung and HTC because it'll be 1 month. Today is the 1 month mark of both of those phones being released, so it would make sense that tomorrow they might post, or this week. I do expect it to post this week, but it has been. The official launch of both of those devices was pretty much April 11th. So now that it's May 11th, we should be getting official numbers from them shortly. But this, I would say, is pretty accurate. How they did it is that on the specific apps that belong to the M8 and that could only be downloaded to the M8, it recently changed over this past week from 100,000 to 500,000 to 500,000 to 1,000,000 downloads, which is obviously a good indicator that they've only sold that many. So because those are the only ones that can download it, and they automatically update when you buy the phone, it makes sense that that's how many units have sold. So that's really the main thing. That if they've only sold 500,000, that's terrible. Just to give you an idea, I guarantee you Samsung has sold over 10 million. I mean, that's how much the S4 sold in its first month. So you have to imagine, since the S5 was supposed to be a higher seller than it, you got to imagine that it's going to be higher than that. So that is pretty credible. Now we've had people, I've seen articles that are more on the rumor side, it seems like, that say, oh, the S5 has sold 10 million a week ago, so they'll be like around who knows, maybe the 12 million, I don't know. We don't know how much they're going to be around, but it seemed like that was more rumoristic, whereas this I felt was a pretty good indicator. And again, if you don't believe me about the HTC, again, they have lost money again for Q1. Now, Q1 is obviously not counting. Is not counting last quarter, it's not counting this quarter, which is when the M8's released. But again, the reason why I went to the first one was because if the M8 only has sold that much, then we're not going to get that good, obviously. So as you can see, this is what I was talking about in terms of HTC's revenue. This one is basically when they sold, the original HTC One. So it did help them, but then right after they had a huge loss, and that was namely due to starting their marketing campaign with the Robert Downey Jr., which I'm sure They had to pay a good amount of it up front, and this was the quarter right here where they were going to be lower, but they end up getting higher because they sold off the rest of the Beats, and this was the first quarter that they sold the first part of Beats, and this was the second quarter when they sold the rest of Beats. So you can just see that has not been a good ride for HTC at this point, and they're definitely hurting. All right, in the next article, we see the iPhone 6 yet again. I believe it's going to be called the iPhone Air, by the way. I am totally calling that it will be called the iPhone Air. So we've seen this a lot now. It basically, this is it. This is the new iPhone, so that's it. You know, this is a new iPhone. I believe it will be called the iPhone Air because it's so thin. It's probably going to be one of the thinnest smartphones of 2014, if not the thinnest smartphone. And the interesting thing is here, like, they got rid of their dual flash thing that came out. I do believe this is still going to be an 8 megapixel, but it's only going to be an f2.0 lens. And this is it, guys. This is the iPhone 6 or iPhone Air. And to see what it looks like against the S5, here we go. So it's the iPhone 6, the S5. It's going to be a 5.1-inch screen versus a 4.7-inch screen. So you have almost half an inch difference between them. However, although height isn't much, it's a lot more narrower. So you can see again, it's thinner compared to the S5, but I doubt it will have the water resistance. There is one that said that they threw the dummy in water, and I'm like, okay, what the hell does that mean? So I think that was just kind of being facetious. And here we have the iPhone 5S versus the iPhone 6. So you can see definitely bigger in comparison, and the iPhone 6 is thinner than the iPhone 5S, which the iPhone 5S was already pretty thin. So again, this is why I believe they're going to be calling it the Air. It just matches with their current trend of calling it Air instead of just calling it the 6. You know, just like they did with their iPads. And then Microsoft has announced their new announcement. So May 20th is their new announcement, and that where they will announce most likely the Surface Mini. So that's probably going to be the big announcement there, which I'm really curious about. I'm interested in a Mini if it has, you know, all the same functionality of the Surface tablets. You know, 8-inch. I want an 8.4. I think 8.4 is really good. I've been playing around with the Tab 4 series, and 8-inch is good, but I believe that 8.4, 8.5 mark, where the Galaxy Tab Pro 8.4 is just perfect. That to me is perfect size for a small tablet, and it just I think it's a better fit. And then we have, speaking of Samsung tablets, we have the first exclusive look of the new tablets from Samsung. So this is really confusing. So this is supposed to be called the Tab S series. And this is a 10.5 model, and we're supposed to get a 10.5 and an 8.4 according to Sam Mobile. And as you can see, this looks fairly similar to the current 10-inch 10.1 Pro that we have out on the market, but the backing, however, does not. The backing looks like the S5, so it looks like it's going to stick to that kind of backing. And so here's the thing. This is going to have essentially the same processor that we have on the Pro series right now in the US that are non-LTE. So it's the exact same. It's an octa-core processor with a 1.9 quad core and a 1.3 quad core. 8 megapixel 2.1 front. And the unique feature really is more so just the fact that on these tablets they're going to have AMOLED displays. So this will be the first tablets with AMOLED displays since the only AMOLED display tablet, which was the Galaxy Tab 7.7 way back in the day of, I think the iPad 2 was out around this time. So you're talking about more than 3 years ago that since we had an AMOLED screen, and that one was the best one out at the time, but this one is definitely going to be as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what we have on here and what kind of features these new tablets are going to bring, because I'm like, aren't these just like the Pros but with even a better screen? I don't see the difference in, besides the 0.5 compared to the 10.1. All there really is the AMOLED screen, unless Samsung reveals something cool and unexpected otherwise. But that is really all that it seems. It's just that's it. Other than that, I mean, the spec sheet is the exact same as the Tab Pro 10.1. So let me know what you guys think. Would you guys get these instead? Do you guys think these should be priced cheaper or higher? See, I would really be interested in this if this was a new Note series. If it was a new Note 10.5 and a Note 8.4, because we don't have a Note 8-inch anymore. We have the Note 8-inch from last year, and that's very outdated now. So I would love an upgrade of that one, but it seems like this Tab S series is going... I don't know if it's supposed to replace the Tab Pro or if it's just supposed to be like, I'm just like the Tab Pro. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I'm curious to get your thoughts on it. I am honestly a little confused by this, so that's my take on it, at least for right now. All right, guys, ask your questions. I will get to the questions that were asked during the week first, and then I will answer all of your questions thereafter. So if you have questions, ask them in the comment section down below. I see Wayne Glassglow has asked 2 questions, so I will be into those. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section down below. All right, Vitaly asks, hey, I have a question. Do you have any information on the LG G3 launch? The announcement was on May 27th. 27th or 28th? I think it's 28th. Thank you, sir. So do I have any information on it? No, we pretty much know what the G3 is going to look like. If I had to guess, I would say that the main rumors is which processors they're going to have. I think it's going to have the 805 processor. LG is very well known for at least the past year to come out with the best processor on the market, which right now is the 801, but last year they outdid the HTC One and the S4 in terms of processor when it came out. So I believe they're going to do that again. I believe it will have the best processor on the market, which will be the new and first phone to have the 805 processor. The 805 is, the next-gen processor. The 801 was kind of like really an increase in the camera. It allowed for amazing camera quality like we've never seen before. But the 805 is supposed to be the next gen in terms of gaming, graphics, and speed. So that's what I'm really curious to see. But that's all the inside information that I would say that I feel very strongly for. And I do feel that we're going to get the G-Watch announcement. I'm more interested in the G-Watch. The LG G3, I don't like the way it looks at all. I mean, I don't like the back button thing. I'm just not a fan of the back button thing. I called it the knock-knock phone. But I'm interested. I'm interested if LG has cleaned up their UI. I cannot stand LG's UI. I hate it more than TouchWiz or Sense. I just don't like it. It seems too all over the place for me, for my taste. All right. Patsy asked, someone has a tablet and her son has gone over the data allowance. Is there a way to alert or stop data usage she has reach the maximum? Yes. So on an Android phone, how you set the data limit on any Android device is you go into your settings, and you should have a data usage section right there, and then you can see how much you've used. So as you can see, I have used a fairly amount. Watch. I'm going to set it to my... So far this month, because my date, I believe, is the 22nd, I've used about 9 gigs. So I have unlimited data. That's why I can use that. So, however, you can limit and alert about limit. So limit means that literally as soon as you hit the data cap, you don't have internet. That's just it. You don't have internet. So you'll never pay an overage. And alerting you, of course, will alert you when you're close to it. So, oh, you only have 2 gigs of data, you've already hit 1 gig. Just letting you know. So calm down a little bit. Or you can have it alert you at 1.5 if you want to be a little risky. But yes, so that is how you do it on Android. All right. Chucks asks, hello. I'm intending to buy the Sony smartwatch for the Huawei P6. Cool. I wish Huawei would have more phones like that over here in the U.S. I intend on finding out if it's compatible with it. The phone is Android 4.2. As far as I know, any phone should be compatible with the Sony smartwatch. I haven't seen one that hasn't been compatible with it. That's Android 4.0 and newer. How do you make calls with it? Will it be on speaker or do I use a headset? So here's the thing. The Sony smartwatch can actually not make calls. That's Samsung is the only one that currently, well, so the Sony one and the Pebble one are more closer in that you get all your notifications, but you cannot make calls. Now, if someone does call you, you can do a reject quick reply. So I can say reject and I'm at the movies, I'm at the gym, I'm with the customer. I can do that all day, but I cannot talk on the phone. So that's the difference of the Sony smartwatch. You cannot use any kind of, you would have to use a Bluetooth headset to actually make the call, which is what you asked. You asked, will it be on a speaker or do I use a headset? You would have to use a headset. You cannot receive calls from the Sony smartwatch or make them. Actually, you can make them, but you can't receive them. You make them as in you just dial to your phone, and then your phone you have to use it, not that you can call from it. It doesn't have a speaker or mic. All right, Christian asked, hey buddy, thanks for the web videos. They are useful. I have a question. I got a Kindle Fire HDX 8.9, and I want to download Cartoon HD. So in order to see movies, could I do that? Sure you can. You do it the way I've shown. So there's an app called Mobile One, which just look at my video on how to download apps on the Kindle Fire HDX, and it's called Mobile One, and it allows you to download lots of apps that are not available on the Kindle App Store. The other option is just to Google search. Let me see. I'm going to try it right now. Cartoon HD APK. And there I have it. I can download. I have 3 downloads, including one from One Mobile. Sorry, not Mobile One. One Mobile. So you can go to onemobile.com, and you have the latest edition of Cartoon HD available to download. So yeah, there you go. It's just that easy. So that's how you would do it. And thank you for saying the hello, because that's the way I say it. All right. So now we'll get to the comment section. So if you have a question right now, guys, and you are watching me, feel free to ask your question. I'm here for you guys to answer all of your questions, and let's start off by answering them all. All right, so we do have 4 questions on here from Wayne Glowglass. If you guys have your question, feel free to ask, and I will be getting to it. Let me see which order this started in. Okay, so HTC says they're coming with a plastic M8 to compete with the Galaxy S5, but isn't the main reason people are buying the M8 because of the aluminum body? Absolutely. But if HTC does do this, which I don't buy it, I don't see the point. It would discredit HTC so much if they made a plastic phone. The reason I say this is because they're talking so much mess in their marketing campaign about it being metal, whilst everyone else is being plastic, that if they create a plastic one, they are going to be counteracting their own marketing, which is never good. That's one thing I have a problem with HTC and their marketing. Their marketing is not on the same page as their company. They need to oversee that better. If Apple says something, it's a straight thing. That's one thing. Like, if Apple or Samsung, if they say this is the vision we have, if an advertising company makes like this is a commercial, do you like it, Samsung? No. You didn't follow anything that our plan for our future, so no. it's just that easy. They don't do it. So yeah, that's what I would say. No, I think it'll be counterintuitive. But if HTC does create a phone that's plastic, they will do it at a cheaper price than Samsung. So say the HTC One M8 is $199 on contract, or $649, I believe, or $639, something like that, right? For a full price. They will make this phone for maybe $499 on full price, or they'll make it for probably $99 on contract, just to undercut the S5. But then who's going to buy the M8? Just for the metal body? That's the problem that HTC is going to run into. All right, your next question is, I want to get a phone that is relatively small, primarily making and receiving calls. Already have a Note 3, so something not Android. Is Nokia 1020 a good buy? Absolutely. The Nokias are amazing devices for calling, texting, and photo taking. Amazing. It's amazing. For those purposes, Nokia is great, and it sounds like you just want a phone just for that. Nokia is amazing for that purpose. For phone calls, texting, and photo quality, Nokias are awesome for that purpose. Other than that is where they have the problem. So I don't like the Windows ecosystem, but I'm not a Windows user. I much, by far prefer Android because of the Google ecosystem. I believe Google has the best ecosystem on the market. And that's me. I feel that like Gmail compared to Apple's email app or Hotmail or Outlook, whatever their Windows calling it now, no comparison. No comparison. Just far beyond. Their calendar sync, everything about it, just awesome. So that is my thing. But if you're not going to Android, the Lumia 1020 has a freaking amazing camera. It might even be better on the light than your Note 3 and sometimes. So yeah, absolutely. I would totally say the 1020 is a good buy, Wayne. Wayne also asked, I think the Note 3 series of those tablets would come after the Note 4 announcement, since it might have some of the same features. Absolutely. So the Note 8 2014 edition, or Note 8 Pro 2014, I feel that yes, that will most likely, if these new tabs, if this new Tab S series that Samsung is supposedly coming out with AMOLED screens is not a Note, if these are not Notes, then yes, the next Note tablets will come out with the Note 4 announcement that's probably going to be in September. Note 3 was announced in September, came out the first week of October. I am guessing it'll be about the same because I do believe, or maybe they'll come out late September. If Apple's either come out August or September. I think the announcement will be in August. I do believe the announcement will be in August, and I think they'll release their device in September. That's what I believe Apple is going to do. In terms of Samsung, I believe they're going to have their announcement quickly follow it. So maybe the first week of September they'll do their announcement, and then I think they're going to have 2 weeks after after Apple. They're going to launch their phone 2 weeks after Apple, because that way the main hype of Apple is gone to their new hype for their Note series. But yes, I do believe the Note tablets, if we get Note tablets and they are not announced in the beginning of the summer, we will get them with the Note 4 announcement. Absolutely. I do believe you're correct in that. What is your take on Samsung Solo smartwatch? That is rumored to be coming. I don't think we'll see it in the U.S. If you are in the U.S., I do not believe that we will see the Samsung Solo smartwatch. This is why. U.S. companies think like this. Why would we have a device that you can buy one of when we can sell a device that you can buy 2 of? And it's lame, it sucks, but this is how the U.S. carrier market is definitely all for. So what I mean by that is, here's a perfect example. All Samsung tablets overseas, every Samsung tablet overseas can make and receive phone calls and does text messaging. But here's the thing. They do that, right? But not in the US. And the reason is because the US market would not want you to just use a tablet with, say, a Bluetooth headset, and that's it, and you don't need anything else. They'd rather you have a tablet and a phone separately. They get to charge you monthly on both. It sucks, but that is definitely what the U.S. market is all about. So I do believe that if the Samsung Solo smartwatch comes out, it will only be in certain markets, and I think they'll sell it internationally, and we will see it only in markets like Korea, where Samsung is based out of, and maybe like Japan and Europe, where they have smartwatches. Smartwatches that make calls have existed for a long time, but they've just never been to the U.S. We've never seen it on this side of the pond, as they would say. And the reason for that is because the U.S. market just doesn't want it. So yeah, I do not believe that it will be selling in the U.S. except like an international version. Kronos DB asks, hey Kronos, how you doing? After I updated my S4 for AT&T for KitKat, I have had a few issues, like 2 processes to get to my home screen. Do you have a fix? I hate updates because they solve some things and create new problems. Absolutely, Kronos. So here's the thing. This is my go-to solution for updates gone wrong. I do believe AT&T has had some issues with this one. They kind of took it down and then brought it back up because they had issues with it. So here's the thing. If you are having problems with your Galaxy S5 AT&T 4.4 update, this is what I would recommend doing, and it sucks. It sucks. I would recommend downloading Samsung keys to your computer, backing everything you have up. So it'll back up everything. It'll back up your text messages, everything, your photos, your videos, your music, all that stuff, videos, all that kind of stuff. It'll back all that up, reset your phone, and then install everything back. That is my recommendation if you continue to have problems, because what happened is when updates go wrong, it's because of this. And it sucks. It really does. So when updates go wrong, at some point during the download process, what happens is if you lost internet connection for 1 second, or if something kind of like when your screen went off, it went into like standby, and then I was like, oh shit, wait, we were downloading something. Just for 1 second. That 1 second can mess up your entire installation and then mess it all up. And I've seen it happen lots of times, too many to count, and that's my solution for it, because then it'll reset it back to factory reset, and then you can have it working perfectly. It sucks, again, it sucks, but that's what I recommend as a fix if it continues to be glitchy. Kakashi, I believe, Howard, K.Howard, ask about the Note 8.0 2014 edition. Will it come out? Yes, I do believe, like I said, if we do see a Note 8.0 and it is not with these new Tab S-series tablets from Samsung, I think it's going to come out with the Note 4 that will be out in the fall. Jeremy C. asks, hey man, I really think your logo looks like it's a drawing by a third. I need to think, change it, man. I like the logo. I honestly like the logo. I've had people like it, dislike it. You know, it's a preference, man. I like it though. My friend who is going to undergrad school for these kind of things designed it on his spare time. I can't think of enough for it, but I really like it, and I'm gonna come up with we're coming up with new designs too. For hopefully the future, possibly even for some T-shirts and stuff like that. So look out for that. TRD Camry 000 asked, is there a way for the Gmail shortcut on your home screen to display new mail count badge? My S5 only does this for general email app. No, so Gmail does not have this themselves. There are third-party apps that you, unfortunately, I believe there was only paid-for apps. I don't believe there was any free ones. But say, look, if I search, this is why I do it live for you guys, because I try to find the solution for you right then and there. And I will do this on my S5 since my Note 3 doesn't have a signal. So let's see. Gmail count. Unread. So here's the thing. So there's like this one which is called Gmail widgets. And I don't know if you can see it there, Gmail widgets. And it's $1.59. But what it does is it creates a widget that does have a counter on it. Again, don't know if you guys can see that very well. There you go. So it has a widget that you can have a counter on it, so that you can see how many you have. And there is a couple like this, but yeah, I have never seen one that's unfortunately free for that kind of stuff. It's something that I think Gmail should do. We've had it with, and the reason why you get it with your email app is because your email app is from Samsung. So Samsung puts counters on theirs, but Gmail is an Android-based system, so Google would have to do that to their own in order to do it. But yeah, so that's why that the email app has it, but not the Gmail app. I agree with you. I use Gmail far more than the email app. Actually, on my S5, I don't even have my email app being used. So for Gmail, unfortunately, that's the only downside to it, is that you don't have a counter on it. Now, if you did have something like, say, I use Nova Launcher, that's a launcher. Check out my video on Nova Launcher to get more things about it. But see how my Gmail does have a counter? Well, that's because Nova Launcher allows me to do that. So that's why there's a little dot on my Gmail, because it's telling me I have one email because of the fact that I have Nova Launcher. And that's why I'm getting it. But otherwise, again, on regular Android, you wouldn't get it. All right, guys, we have gone 40 minutes. Whoa. We have gone 40 minutes, so hopefully I answered all of your questions. I will refresh it one more time to see if we got any other questions, but I think we got them all. Thank you for your participation. We got lots of questions today. Lots of people want to know their answers. And definitely tune in next week if you did not get your question answered. If you have a question and you want me to answer it, just email me at asktheandroidguy@gmail.com, and I will answer it next week. Important news about next week, actually. Now that I remember. Next week, we will be having the show on Monday. My girlfriend is graduating. She's getting her master's degree. So we are going to be busy all weekend with her graduation, and then moving all her stuff back over here because we're going to be moving in together soon. So that'll cause lots of delays in July. But until then, we're going to be... So I will be busy all weekend, so I will not have a show Sunday. I will be traveling across California all the way up north, 11 freaking hours. Yes, that's what we will be doing for that. So yes, that's how I will be doing it later on for that purpose. So on related news, so TRD, thanks for the info. No problem. Thank you for asking your question. And K. Howard, I don't want to mispronounce her name. Is there some way to put Handcom Office on Samsung 2013 tablets? No, unfortunately not. That's one of the big things, man. It's like if you have the old tablet, that kind of sucks. I always get the accidental damage for my tablet, so that if it drops, I can just get this year's tablet. I got the Note 8 dropped, and I was able to get a Mother's Day gift for my mom. and got the Tab 4 8-inch with the money that I got from that one. So yeah, and the new one has hand-com office, the old one doesn't. So yeah, it sucks. It sucks. But they do not have it. So no, there's no way to get hand-com office yet on Samsung 2013 models, which sucks because it's a really amazing office. Hand-com office is one of the main reasons you should get a Samsung tablet right now. It's freaking amazing. And why isn't it on my S5? That's a good question. Alright guys, again, we are going to wrap it up for today. Thank you for watching so much, and if you have any other questions, feel free to ask, and please give a thumbs up down below if you did enjoy this broadcast of this weekly episode. Thank you for watching. This has been RICKY, the Android Guy.